demo. Once I get it started, you guys should be able to see me in there. Orange, red, and yellow guy, right? So
do we need our phones for this?
No.
No. Oh, okay.
I'm gonna hand you everything you're gonna need.
Oh, cool.
So, orange, red, and yellow guy, that means I'm the warmest thing in here. If you all were a bridal party, I'm the hottest thing in here. So, now, everything around me should be somewhat blue or black. The blue or black spots are the colder areas, obviously. With this large of a party, Judd over here is going to try to keep somebody in view at all times because our skin temperature is going to be the warmest thing out here. So with that, it gives us a nice variation of color. So that way it's easier to find those blue and black spots that are going to move or take shape on their own. You will get this full video back tomorrow. So it's usually about an hour to an hour and a half out of your 2-hour tour because there's going to be some walking in between and we cut the video. Right. So it also gives you a blue dot. When you get your recording back, the blue dot gives you the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. I left that in there on purpose so it kind of helps guide our eye here in real time. So you also have some center crosshairs, so if you want to measure something directly, you can do that. But you're going to keep this guy horizontal all night long. The camera will stay on your left. The camera is actually down here where my finger is pointing, so that way you don't want to block it, or else it'll all turn red. So it is a normal cell phone, feel free. I will tell you, people do not like to be filmed. So just kind of keep that in mind when we're walking out and about.
All right.
Let's see. Let's get into spirit boxes next. We're going to be using 4 different types of spirit boxes tonight. They all do something a little bit different aside from 2 of them. Spirit boxes are a way for us to communicate with the dead. They're going to sweep through FM radio stations at a very quick rate. TV shows, it's usually just the white noise, right? And then they give you some disembodied voice that they think they heard trying to convince you of the same thing. Yeah, we're not going to be doing it that way. This is slowed down on purpose. I want the radio chatter to come through. That's what you're listening for. Song lyrics, DJs, commercials. It will be going fast, but it is as slow as I can possibly make it because your ears aren't trained to listen to this type of recording. This one in particular will record all night long, no outside noise, so it won't record any of us or know what we're saying. When you get your recording back, even when it's on mute, so Josephine, when you're listening to this, you're going to be the only one that can hear it tonight because I will give you an earbud that I don't want back. So earbuds are gross because earwax is in there. So you can keep those. But yours will record the entire session. You guys will get the entire recording tomorrow, and I will give you 15 to 20 markers of things that I find when I spot check it. Even if it's not relevant, it helps train your ear on what to listen for. So you're going to see certain words I omit automatically. You're going to be listening to Charleston radio stations because it is live. So we're going to omit the word Charleston whenever we hear it. We don't care about that because that's going to be pretty common. So you'll have one button to worry about. It is the volume button, and I'll get you a set of earbuds. But that volume button is at the top, right above the numbers. It's a wheel, so you'll control the volume. I'm going to hand the earbuds over to London so get those plugged in. Oh, you'll be fine.
Can you relax me?
Yeah, she's got it.
I like to make jokes.
She's here for the heckles. That's why she's here.
I
She's
get
my
paid
heckle.
to make fun of him. So it's fine.
So the second one does the exact same thing. Obviously, it's the same device. Only this one's not going to record for us. So we're going to have to rely on the person to actually listen in and let us know what you hear. I will keep a little notepad in my side pocket to be able to write down all of the things that happen in real time, so they'll go inside of your notes. So, Ronnie Joe, was it? This one's going to go to you, and then we'll get you a set of earbuds and show you where the volume button is here in a minute. Your spirit box, young lady, works a whole lot different than what theirs does. This one, let's fire up. This one's going to give us a set of words from time to time in the middle of the screen. It just gave us the word increase. Okay, so what's going to happen with this set of words is it's going to fall into a list. So that list, just so you guys know, gives us timestamps. Last tour I did, they actually had 100 terms, roughly about 98 to 99, because we just had 1 or 2 pop up. I'm going to clear them out to start you guys off fresh. 80% of what comes out of this list doesn't mean anything. So this app is actually meant to be a game and a hoax. So again, I don't take a whole lot of faith into that, but when we do get the 20% that comes out of it, it is solid evidence. And it'll always be relatable to a person we're talking about, history, a location of where we are, or something even going on with one of us. So again, it's very precise when it wants to be, but everything else will say, that's kind of vague. You'll hear me say that quite a lot.
Like, do I do anything?
So when I want to see the list, I'll come up to you and say, Nancy, where are we at? And you hit the little white square next to the word.
Okay.
And then it'll bring the whole list up. And then go ahead and tap that little white square so you can see it. When you have words, you'll be able to scroll through them.
Okay.
And then you just hit the circle back to get back to your main screen.
Got it.
2 easy buttons.
I can handle that. You're supposed to. What is she supposed to be doing first?
I'm listening to radios.
Right. Song lyrics, DJs, and commercials.
Okay.
If you can make out anything of the phrases that come out of it, we want to know what it is.
Okay, got it.
You guys have all seen these on television shows and that kind of thing. So these are pretty basic. Like this is
the EMF meter.
yeah. So this one is going to obviously pick up anything that creates any type of electromagnetic field, including parking meters. And if a cell phone was right on top of it, it would also go off then. So this is one of the first pieces I use to debunk things. Again, I'm not here to make stuff up for y'all. So if you guys want a real paranormal proof, this is going to be the start of where certain things are going to happen. Joanne, that one's going to go to you. So every group that has a spirit box should have something relative close to a K2 EMF meter. Let's see. What do we want to go to next? So this one is a multifunction device. Jim, this one's going to go to you. This one also has a K2 built into it. The top number, anything above 2.5, I want to know what it is.
Okay.
If Judd finds anything on his camera, the bottom number is ambient temperature. We can either figure out if it's real paranormal evidence or if it's debunkable. That's the bottom temperature.
2.5.
Sorry, I didn't mean to flash that. Yes, 2.5, and then obviously the temperature. The last thing that it has is it has a motion meter built into it. If something gets close to the antenna I just pulled out, it will go off.
Oh, cool.
The closer it gets, obviously the higher it's going to go. I'll show you more about that at our first location. But right, because it can be a little distracting when I'm telling stories, we'll leave it off for now.
All right.
So just focus on the numbers on the red screen.
Okay.
Jim, if it goes off, I'm going to need you to. It needs to be a special word. Pineapple, I don't know. Something.
All right, Erin, you're also going to have a spirit box, but you don't have any earbuds. The nice thing about that is you'll actually be able to share with Jillian back there so that way you guys can hear both what's going on with this.
Okay.
So, again, song lyrics, DJs, commercials. Ear button is on the side of the ball speaker. You hold it up gently. Takes a minute for the volume to come up. Obviously, there's going to be certain places where I say, let's keep that at earshot level only, just because of where we'll be.
Okay.
So, again, yours is important, but it's also like a shareable item. So if I have my full groups of 10, they usually I hand that to 2 different people, so that way Jill can, you know. You get carried back. No, bring it on. He's been pretty quiet this whole time. I don't know if he's a sponge.
I'm ready to work out for tonight, so there's always that.
So, this is the relatively newer device. This
Oh,
camera
so
works a whole lot different than the thermal imaging. So you guys should not be able to see me in this camera at
It's
this point.
just
It's
night-
pretty dark in that screen.
Night vision.
No, we're going to be working with IR lighting. So it's full spectrum lighting. It should be
Okay.
in a pink or purple hue, whatever your eye color is. So obviously we're working with light you cannot see with your own eyes. So the hope here is that we're going to capture something on camera with things that we shouldn't be able to see with our own eyes. We have captured some orbs on here and obviously some weird anomalies that didn't have a shape. So again, I'll show you a lot more with this camera as we kind of move along. Do we have a ton of evidence from either camera? No, but again, what we have, holy cow, good stuff. So that one's going to go up to you, my friend.
Awesome.
So I think everybody, look, she's got to get the
I
pictures.
really document everything.
I have no qualms about pictures being taken throughout the night, so if you guys whip out your phones or you need a camera moment, just let me know. I know you guys are all tourists, which is perfectly fine. This is a beautiful city. Take pictures. So I think everybody has some here, right? So all I'll need is my little notebook and pen so I can take notes from y'all as we kind of go throughout the night.
I don't have a tool. Do you get the backpack?
It's lighter tonight.
Laura?
Much lighter tonight, so thank you for that. Next thing's nice and easy. All right, so let's talk about why we started here. This place behind me, Big John's Tavern. Who texted me about, was it the Bone and Joint place? Who was that? I was like, I normally say Big John's and don't say Bone and Joint. Meet the creepy stories in the
I know,
cemetery
the
guy
Bone
at the
and
Bone and
Joint,
Joint place. Sounds kind of odd. But Big John, this was his bar. He was a football player for the 1947 New York Giants. You guys will notice I slow down on a lot of key words throughout the night. There's 4 spirit boxes out here. Obviously, keywords here are going to be 1947, New York, and Giants. Football, anything related to a bar. But this was his place. He used to sit in the back of the bar, and he would let the bartender know if the cadets coming over from the Citadel, if they were old enough to drink or not. One night, 2 guys come in, they're not old enough. He has the bartender throw them out. He'll be pretty pissed off. Let's just put it out there. Drink time. You guys got me talking about it. They come back the next night, and they try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. Notice I said try. John sees what's going on. He gets up from the bar, just starts pounding these guys into the floor, just beating the hell out of them. A couple of shots go off. John gets hit in the neck. The bullet lands in the wall behind him, which is the front of the bar. John gets up after being shot. He goes back to the bar, and he tells the bartender to get him another beer, get the 2 guys on the floor, an ambulance. The irony of this story is that nobody died, and I'm here telling you ghost stories. So what's haunting the place? The bullet hole is allegedly still here, even after the renovation of the new Big Johns that we have now.
After it burnt.
Well, there was a fire. You're
Yeah.
correct. That was 2015, but there was a couple of bars in between.
Okay.
But now they renovated it again to be another Big John's. But his blood is in this building, even if this new version of Big John's filled it in and all of that.
Right.
People that sit in the front of this bar tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, or headache. This is your heated warning. You asked me about, things being protected. If anybody starts to feel any of those symptoms, I will need to know immediately. Fingers crossed you're going to be dealing with paranormal activity tonight. I don't know how it's going to affect any of you, so in the event that somebody does feel those symptoms, let me know so we can move the whole group to safety. Is that fair? You guys all went, what the hell did I sign up for?
No, I'm going.
Yes, I'm going to get a headache. That's great. So, same building. Let's not talk about urban health and get your mindset off of it for a moment. Big earthquake here in 1886. If you take any kind of Charleston tour, you already knew that because we all mention it because it's an anomaly for Charleston because we're on the East Coast. We're not supposed to have earthquakes.
Right.
The white mantle in the middle of the building that you see behind me also goes around to the front on the East Bay side. A piece of that broke off during that earthquake, struck somebody in the back of the head, and killed them. They say you could see his ghost in the middle of East Bay Street in the middle of the night. I say apparently and allegedly a lot with that story because I have no proof. It's just a great segue so the moms that I get on the tour aren't thinking or worried about getting sick on the tour or their kids going, holy crap, what'd you sign me up for? So, is everybody ready to go ghost hunting?
Yeah.
All
Let's
right.
Follow London.
Oh, me?
Look at that. You're working. My winter hours, I only tour 4 nights a week now, so every once in a while I come across something like this where we were just asking, like, what the heck's going on here? Normally not roped off, but obviously they're working on the farm. So, your entire time with me, guys, should be thought of as kind of a ghost hunting 101. This is your level 1. This is very easy stuff, so me and London can basically work with you guys one-on-one. It's a one-line piece of history here. It's very easy. So this is what I call the Big Red Barn Lot. Obviously, it's a big red barn. This is where we keep your horses for your carriage rides today. Looks like Jill's got a little bit of activity going on with her device. So
I
that's
tried
good.
to see if it was my mom, but it wasn't.
The history here is really simple. This is the same red barn where we held horses that delivered milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston. We're talking 1860s to 1920s, roughly. We're also pretty close to Big John, so things could stir up from there. Spirit boxes. Let's talk about those.
7, 2 point.
You got a 7.
7, 8.
Nice. Okay, keep that in the back of your head. I'll have to write that one down. Spirit boxes, this is not television. Everybody wants to ask the same question. Is somebody here? All right? Because that's what everybody wants to do. If somebody says no through your spirit box, that means somebody's here. We're going to stay away from yes and no questions all night long. All right? You guys are all here for paranormal proof. The way to do it is not through yes and no questions. You're going to ask things you already know the answer to, like what color is the big red barn? Obviously, you're going to be listening and looking because Nancy has a looking device where she can just read the words, looking for the color red. Those of you listening, the word red might not be in the vocabulary of those, DJs, song lyrics, and commercials. But take, for example, fire truck, heart, blood, cardinal. all of those things are specifically red. That would be an acceptable answer to me. However, most of the night, I'm going to require 2 pieces of evidence to actually verify. Watch your night vision. That's this.
How do I
show.
undo that? Sorry about that.
We keep that one off to keep the other tourists from wondering what the hell we're up to. So we use the light that they can't see either. That's why we use the eye. But with that, and there's no tours over here, by the way. But with that, I'm going to require 2 specific clues of what's going on around us to be able to verify what's going on. For example, Nancy has the word art on her word list, and somebody else here is the number 40. Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. Do you see where I have to kind of verify and be able to, I need a secondary clue? You're going to hear me say that a lot tonight, secondary clue. We're going to be working with a lot of people from colonial times, and a lot of those names are the same. John, George, Eliza. Like, we need to know who the hell we're talking to. So again, we're going to be looking for those specific details. So I normally work with the cameras first in this lot. We're not going to spend a lot of time here, maybe 5 minutes. So I'll show the cameras a few things. London, if you want to work with Jim over here and show him how to use that millimeter, that will save me a lot of time. And then we'll go learn some much deeper history than football players and ponies. So cameras, stay with me so that I can show you a few more tactics, and then I'll check up on the spirit boxes and we'll move on. And remember 7.8, because I'll have to write that one down. So Judd, come on over here, bud. Spirit boxes, let's spread out, stay away from vehicles. Cameras.
Like to explain it very difficult.
So
Yeah.
first and foremost, I should warn you, people do not like their cars being filmed. We will be in certain areas tonight like this where people's cars are parked. So I always try not to pick the tallest person in the group so that they're not like this and filming somebody's car. But at the same time, just kind of go the other way. You're casually holding devices. They don't, they don't want to be part of what we're doing. Not to mention they don't know what we're doing. Thermal imaging, I think you got the gist of trying to keep somebody in view.
Yeah.
And this lot is a great, exploratory piece because we have metal, we have asphalt, we have, foliage, that kind of thing. So that way you can kind of see how things move around.
Right.
You obviously have some black spots on your screen right now. So I would keep an eye on those just to kind of see, obviously, can you figure out where they're at? So, is it the air conditioner? Is it that panel over there? That kind of thing. So those are the types of things where you need to be back and forth with your own eyes.
Oh,
on
like
the screen.
that.
Right.
I gotcha.
So it's obviously going to be a little bit colder.
Right.
So, again, I will do starts and stops with both your cameras. Yours is recording now because I like the tutorial to be on there with the dots and the crosshairs.
Yep.
Yours is not recording yet, just because I like for it to warm up. It does like to freeze if I start it up right away.
Good point.
So, and that one works a whole hell of a lot different. There's no internal memory, so you have to use outside SD cards, and the files are giant.
Yeah, I could imagine.
So with your particular camera, go ahead and point it at me for a second. You're working with 2 different types of lights. You have a short range, and you have a long range.
And then to turn
That's
it
the
off,
top
just
switch.
hit the
So you always want to keep your long range on. If somebody gets too close,
You want it to
you can
do
always
this.
see how it bleaches out. You can turn the short range off and keep your long range working for you.
Interesting.
So,
So that's
just the red button on the top. You got it.
Got
So
it.
it's up to your discretion, however you want to use it.
cool.
And again, I'll give you starts and stops with that as well. After the next piece of history, I'll say, let's go ahead and get your camera going. That's this button right here.
Yep.
But again, I'm not looking for things in the purple hues. I'm looking for things in the darkness that will reflect that purple hue. That's why I love this light being on here, especially at a different angle because it's working in 2 different ways.
Gotcha.
And if you need to switch hands, simply muscle the camera to go the opposite way, so that way you can just switch hands if you need to.
Yep, I hear it.
But again, Judd, with yours, even when I tell you to stop it and you restart it, make sure you restart it in the same position that you're at. Your videos go to YouTube after I splice them together, so you guys have one video to watch for each one.
Gotcha.
And it doesn't like the flippies. And then I got to give out your phone number, and it's never fun.
Okay.
But again, just make sure you always start on the left-hand side with the wire. So let me follow up with these spirit boxes, and we'll learn some real history.
All right.
All right.
Let's do that. I like the fact that everyone has their own view and a little bit of something different.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's great.
Over there, and then it stopped.
Wow.
You know what?
14.7. That's crazy.
I got a horse.
That's good.
She got fired. Yeah, I got fired. When you were talking, I got fired.
Well, we were talking about the fire of Big John. 14.7 on yours.
Man, now I'm getting the.
That was that.
Getting tingly.
All right, guys, let's go learn some much deeper history than what we got. I think everybody's got
The same. Yeah.
You got all the way to the very red.
I saw. That's awesome. So, that's a good sign. Welcome to another beautiful spot of Charleston, everybody. It's another parking lot, I know. This place used to be something. Your device will probably do that out the entire time here. So be excited because there are not many places that I've ever been to where we get this much activity out of your device. So, and there's no wiring underneath this. What was this place? This used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion site. So who the heck were these people? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's three different Charleses. Just keep them in the back of your mind until I can write it down. So that's three different Charleses. The son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. It's a pretty big deal for us. Watch yourself, Joe. That's the only entrance and exit. That's why I pulled us all the way to the back. So, first off, spirit boxes. I'm not going to be giving you questions for your spirit boxes like what color is George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the red ball. You're going to get the answers from your spirit boxes. And like I was just telling Nancy, I will leave some things out purposely, just so that you guys aren't subliminally looking for certain things. So, let's not talk politics, because you guys are all on vacation, and it's 2022, and nobody wants to. So, you okay over there? Am I boring you to death? Are you ready? All right. Charles and Eliza got married when Eliza was pretty young, according to today's standards. So, she's from colonial times. I don't want you to put that colonial time period in your head. We're thinking she got married when she was 12 or 14. I will tell you that Charles was over double her age when they got married. So, keep that in the back of your mind. So when those numbers pop up, it's very significant. She married Charles because her father over in England thought he was dying, and he wanted to see all of his kids one last time. She didn't think he was dying, so she stayed put, and she got married. This is colonial times, 1744. There's no such thing as citizenship or green cards or anything like that, because we're not even a country yet. She did marry him out of love, and even after his death, for a long period of time, she remained a widow. So yes, she did marry him out of true love. Now, she was right. Dad didn't die right away. So he starts sending her gifts to this very spot. One of those gifts happened to be the plant indigo. You guys have been here for at least a few hours.
Oh, yeah. Jeez. Yeah.
Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes your blue jeans blue. Okay? That's how we use it today. Now, it's not always warm here, as you can tell. We need plants to grow in warm temperatures. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep it going. Get it cultivated in this spot, experiment with it, and then she moved it to Mount Pleasant, another plantation that they own just north of here. Once she had it up there and had it all figured out, she calls her dad, not really because it's colonial times, and says, hey, I need somewhere to sell this stuff. The rice plantations are going downhill. Now we have a businesswoman during colonial times. That's absolutely unheard of. You might want to click that right button. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, just keep it off for a few. So once we have a businesswoman in colonial times, I'm giving you just the basis and the facts of what her life was like. Let's get into the weird stuff, because that's why you guys are all here, right? There's weird stuff about Eliza. First off, she was the second wife named Eliza for Charles. Back to back, same year. First wife, Eliza, died. He married this one 6 months later. Yeah, either good for him or, wow, that was really crappy to do. So, depending on how you look at it. Both Elizas actually have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. Ironic. So if you want to find out which Eliza we're dealing with, ask her what her maiden name is. You can obviously ask how old she was when she got married. I gave you that one already. You can ask what happened to the mansion. It's not here anymore. And then you can ask when that tragedy happened. So again, hopefully you get the specific year of when that tragedy did occur. The children, I told you there's at least one. His name was Charles. There's more. I'm not going to tell you how many, but you can ask how many and get their names. After that, leave it alone. There's a tragedy among those kids that if we poke the bear too much, all activity will stop, including Jillian's device over there that's going crazy. It will go down to green like there's nothing even happened here. And the rest of it, like the rest of the night, will be pretty much null and void. So just don't poke the bear. Eliza's death. You can ask anything you want to. She's pretty open. Eliza, how old were you when you died? What did you die from? Where are you buried? And what U.S. president was a pallbearer at your funeral? Like, these are all very specific questions.
She was that important.
She was that important. And this president wanted to be a pallbearer at his own request. Just so you know. Let's see. I think that about covers the basis, does it not?
Correct.
Did a maiden name, children, house, and her death. Yeah, I think that about covers it. So there's a lot of cars in here. I've already warned the cameramen to not, film vehicles. So kind of keep that in mind. We do not go near vehicles. This kind of limits our space a little bit, but if you do want to find a tucked away corner, you should be following, Jim and Jillian with their devices to see where the high activity is going to be. And we're going to spend a good 10 to 15 minutes here. If we get great activity and, we have a conversation going, obviously we'll stay more.
Wow.
But that's usually about the basis is about 10 to 15 minutes of the investigation here. Have you heard anything on your spirit box at all? I know you've had both earbuds in. Anybody else have anything else?
Wedding.
Wedding. We were talking about her marriage, so take that for what it is. We did have the word horses come up at the red barn, so that's pretty significant. What's inside the big red barn, right? The horses in there. So would I like to have heard something else on top of that to verify it? I would have, but the word horses, again, you already knew they were in there, so it was kind of subliminally put there. I think that about covers it. So it's definitely good. Chris, you want to get yours started for sure. Nice slow movements on both cameras. Again, stay away from those vehicles. People get very, very angry about their cars being moved. And this will be pretty much our last spot where there's going to be a lot of cars. So just be mindful. Let's spread out and let's see if we can capture it.
Hey, you have to ask her questions. So we can
I have to ask her
Yeah,
questions.
you have to ask
questions.
Pops
Like,
up.
who is James? I want a floor plan of the house. What did James do?
What?
Who's James? And so I was like, who's James? Who's James who? You have to ask the questions. Yeah. How did How did you die? How many kids did you have?
I would expect more. Yeah, that is kind of strange. So, again, we'll take a full spread. We'll see what else pops up over here.
Ooh. Where we went?
There was a racetrack, like a sporting track. Pretty far.
Hey. Oh.
We're neighbors.
How did you die? How did you die? Die? Who was the president?
Good question.
Doesn't hurt, James.
The very last story I'll tell you guys tonight, both of those terms are very, very relevant. And it's weird because that particular goes to said to be seen all over.
That what?
That goes to said to be seen all over, and you'll see why we go to the specific location that we go to once we get there, because I do explain what different types of ghosts that we're working with. So James and arrest. Okay, we'll see how that goes. My brain is always like turning the stories over and over and over again in my head just to see what we
Tell
got.
them the words you got when we were first officially got to
Yeah, so I told her I am going to deal with anything like that. Jed, how you doing on yours? Anything crazy going on?
No. Seems alright.
Okay. And again, I don't capture something with that every night, but when I do, it's a holy cow moment. So
Gotcha.
I get about 4 to 5 solid pieces from that per year. Just to
Okay.
kind of, but if I'm not recording, yeah, I'm not going to be able to catch
Whoa,
it.
right,
So
yeah.
that's why we record as much as we possibly can.
Gotcha.
And everything running smooth on yours. At 9 minutes and 26 seconds, you'll see the timer restart.
Okay.
It's creating a new file. It goes to the large, that's 4 gigs, and it starts over again. So we'll probably get a good 45 minutes to an hour out of yours. So maybe you start the stops. We'll get a good hour and 15 minutes out of yours.
Should we stop it now?
Nope, nope, you're good. Keep filming. Keep going.
Like if that was like, if this was like her bedroom.
Yeah, but that's in it.
So
Over there I did.
Elijah, you here?
even if you don't think it's wrong, let me know what it is.
Okay.
How silly it is.
Okay, I will.
There you go. You can turn that up a little bit so you can hear it. So with yours, what I look for here are steady patterns. So I look for patterns because it's usually from a man-made object. So it's like just staying on a certain color, like straight on yellow and just solid and not flickering like the way it is now. There's no wiring underneath this. Like there's no reason why this thing should be doing this at all. And there's been nights I come in here and we have no idea. Not many, but it does happen. So I know for certain like what we're capturing is legit. So it's a matter of like when I see this kind of stuff, it's like this is what you should be following, and you're gonna find out throughout the night. Not every place is gonna give you anything. So it just if I expect something out of the location, it's this one for sure. The lot we were just in, again, no wiring underneath us. We're too far away from the wiring above us for it to go off. But notice you don't have a pattern. It's going just all over the place. So
Can I let her listen for a little while? Can I switch?
you can do whatever you want.
Do you want to listen?
As long as it stays within your party.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
And she can
and
use my earbuds because we're related.
She's getting 25s over here. So her device only goes to
6'3",
25.
10'7".
Yours goes up to 198. Is the highest I've ever seen it go. So yours is just more accurate. I like to use this one to debunk things first.
Well, that's me.
I wanted you to be able to see if you can hear something.
This is what my brain seems like. Static. No, crazy, crazy.
Go ahead and click that. Whenever it goes off, just click it. You got it.
Home. That's a good one.
Eliza, what happened to your home?
I heard home again.
Eliza, tell us what happened to your home.
My business. She's like, that's my business.
Just going nuts.
What?
Third, did you hear that?
I heard something come out. That was pretty.
Uh-huh. It said
Sounded like,
third.
sounded like a kid.
Uh-huh. And it went third. I don't know what that means.
That way their steps are
Man, I'm getting like.
You can tell when it's like music or not. Like,
Yeah, because I know the
uh-huh. Yeah, this one's third.
Nothing crazy. You haven't screamed or thrown the phone, so I figured nothing crazy yet, huh?
No, no, no.
But you probably have, even though it doesn't capture something every night like most of these other devices,
Right.
you probably have the most fun thing to watch. Just
Yeah, he did. He heard mine say third.
Yeah, it was pretty loud.
we had fourth come up on the word list, so that's interesting. We have third as well. It's almost like she's counting down. Freeze up?
Yeah.
Okay. When that happens, all I have to do is a quick battery pop because we're so all the way around it. And we just lost the 8 minutes.
Still nothing.
I've tried different size SD cards, different brands. It still does it whenever I'm not doing this every single time. Now if I'm at home, I can have it running for 5-6 hours with nothing. Because I tested that too. But
Maybe
That's where I heard the most. It was right here.
when I'm out here, it's almost, I can guarantee it's going to do it at least once. And there's been nights where I've had to change batteries and still doing it. So. All right, any other words, terms coming up from you guys? Anybody hearing anything else before I get you guys the answers? Because I'm not going to leave you hanging.
I thought I heard something, but I think it was just like
Okay.
on like a radio.
Okay, well, what was it?
I see.
I see.
Oh, she's saying she wanted an ice.
No, I think she's good.
All right, so let's get you guys some answers. So let's definitely turn off that REM pod piece, Jim. That's the white button on the back. Videos, you guys can pause your videos, stop your videos, kind of give your hands a break.
Man, that thing's going off still, eh?
Yeah. He's yawning so much because of his oxygen. His O2 is not good. That's why he's. That's
And
why
his face is white.
Yeah, that's why he's yawning so much. Because of his oxygen level. Jim? His hand right here.
Can you put your other leg out in front of you? Push your butt back. There you go. Is he diabetic? Is he diabetic? Put his feet up. Put his feet up.
Are you doing your orb thing on? Look at this. Look. I was just going to take a picture of the cool alley, but I have this
What kind of phone do you have?
iPhone. Look at
That
it.
little blue dot, is it? It's not in the phone. It's from the phone.
Is
it's a
it?
phone thing, yeah.
Well, that, I've never seen that before.
It's Peter and Charles.
I got about that. That is snow.
Well, you got to restart it because you turn the light off.
Red, what am I doing?
The bottom left. Alright, so welcome to Lodge Alley, everybody. This is a very interesting space. The last place we were at was an intelligent ghost. This is not the case here. So this is a residual ghost. What happens here is kind of like watching a movie over and over and over again. The reason for that is because we're standing on Belgian blocks. These blocks that you're standing on are made strictly of granite. So anything that comes straight from the earth, like limestone and granite, is said to hold on to the consciousness of memories. These bricks were laid in 1735. They've been here a long damn time. They've seen a lot of stuff. The reason I asked you for names is because when we crossed over that last crosswalk pretty quickly, that was where the original Charlestown Wall used to be. You're now standing on one of the earliest streets of Charlestown. Charleston used to call Charlestown the walled city. So you're literally inside the city walls. The people that used to live here are the names I was looking for. I normally hear the same names every 6 to 7 weeks, like they're on a loop. The names Benjamin and John will show up here quite often. You don't think that those are like, oh, you think those are pretty common names, but that's 2 out of 5 people that lived here in 1801. Do I have any other significance of 1801 related to this space? No, it's a teaching moment for you guys that aren't familiar with all of these things on a day-to-day basis to teach you about residual ghosts. Freemasons also had a Masonic lodge here before people lived here. So that's why the name is called Lodge Alley, the Masonic Lodge. We've gotten terms around the Masonic Lodge like Freemason, Bricks, Illuminati. We've gotten Illuminati, I think 2 or 3 times last year alone. Of course, I have to chuckle every time I hear it. It's like, damn it, really? But again, it does pop up. They've done an archaeological dig underneath here, unlike the Pinckney Mansion site. They did find some of the people's clothing and silverware and their tools of the people that used to live here. It makes sense that these people were lower class, and the archaeological dig helped make that decision. The other side of the wall was basically where that truck is across the street. So the smell of low tide would be coming through here quite often. These were shotgun houses in here, 1 to 2 room homes only, and there was only 5 to 6 of them. These 2 giant buildings, they weren't even here. So again, this street is only wide enough for a horse and buggy to go down. I'm standing on somebody's stoop right now, and I'd be looking at my neighbor. Like, that's how the living conditions would have been. Every once in a while, we'll get a 3rd name down here. That name is Jane. Again, pretty insignificant, only that's the 3rd out of 5 people in 1801. So that's kind of going, with my proof of the stone tape theory and the loop with the bricks that we're standing on. Very interesting space. A lot of things have occurred down here. Names, continue to listen as we walk through the rest of this. I'm literally taking you right on the edge of where tour guides are allowed to take you. We're going to be cutting through a neighborhood once we exit out of here, so that means videos need to be cut off. And we're going to go to another alley. I just can't take you through it because, yes, I've been kicked out of there. London loves to laugh at that story, so I will tell you why I've been kicked out of there. Remember, you guys joined the annoying group. Normal ghost tours aren't like this at all. So you guys have the blinkies and the cameras, and the neighbors don't like it. So we'll talk about that once we get there. But that specific alley, love that alley. We'll talk about it. But there's a story there that I still get a ton of evidence from because there's a ton of keywords that we can get out of it. It's not a quick stop like this one. So London will talk to you more about your REM pod along the way, so that way you can learn more about it and when it's appropriate to actually use it. So,
baby.
Let's cut through the rest of this alley slowly, continue with some footage, and let's see if I do capture a lot of orbs in here. So,
So basically, the big number on the front is going to tell you basically the making lights thing.
So it's still reading, it's just not making all that noise.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then
Is there a way to turn the light on or no?
no,
Just have to.
mid already be on. I don't know why. These streets sound fucking. And then the actual body part of it is still kind of text section. So it's going to tell you if it's actually
no, it's low battery. We usually have to swap out at least once.
So like if I were to do that and it was
So all the videos that we were
go
just
crazy and make it
Yeah.
look like it's about to have a
Oh yeah, SD cards.
So on all those YouTube videos, I look at them like, oh, it's weird to drain your battery. For real.
It is.
It is?
But
There have been nights where I've had to put 4 batteries next to it. That's why I carry 5.
Why is that? Because like there's so much.
They talk a lot about the term energy, and I don't like using the term energy because it's very generic. I mean, we are energy. So I'm sure you noticed I haven't said the word energy since we all met, just because it is so generic. I like to be very specific. But the term of draining a battery is because they need energy from it. If they're yanking somebody's head,
Did they drain the battery out?
they can't. This is not that case.
Oh,
This is
okay.
an expectation.
Oh, I gotcha.
So I'm going to put it back on record just for the last few minutes of this alley. There you go. You should be good the rest of this. Alright.
I got you.
Oh, things like these can't take anymore. Oh, these are, this is volleyball from, all I've done is 3 months to do this.
A lot of court things. Oh, we
Can I
also
keep that off?
you can
Okay.
and just follow the EMF. That's fine.
Okay.
Because it can be a little jarring when you're trying to focus on something.
Oh, you froze again.
Froze again?
Yeah.
Especially that thermal. I've seen that thermal like it gets made other places. Like puts a little weird film over them in the camera, and then all of a sudden that device.
So one of my actors, she actually had a third eye, so she could actually pick up in a sense a lot of activity.
Sure.
She actually avoids places like Philadelphia and Charleston, specifically on that. So
Is
it's
that why you were asking?
yeah.
Very interesting.
Jillian. Jillian.
I think Judd, he's
Jillian.
gonna walk to the front too.
Yeah, we can walk into the front.
Yeah.
All right. Come on. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Oh man, they got the things there, huh? You guys
Stop
get
it.
anything?
No, I'm
No?
not. I haven't gotten anything since Jim.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Oh, man.
That thing is so cool.
I gotta ask.
Yeah.
It's very cool. I saw this thing and they were using one of those things and they caught like a little boy's face under a bed in one of those.
What?
Yeah, it was one of those like thermal things. They were like this haunted house. It was like, I think it was like the Conjuring house. And they caught a little boy's face under the bed.
Yeah, that shit is freaky.
Yeah. Those are like some of
It's also good. I used it in electrical to find out if stuff is too hot
Yeah.
and everything, so.
My fingertips might fall off. That's what
Yeah.
yeah, but that's what you gotta do. I don't know. She was nice. I just need one. The other one's safe in my hand. I mean, in my.
Powder magazine. Anybody here? Come on, show up on the thermal camera. Say hi. Come on, wave. Wave or do something. Come on.
We always get piratey terms here. Sometimes we're very vague, but when we have enough of them, we can count them.
There was a lot going on with Galaxy when you started doing stuff.
You know, obviously they're going to navigate by the stars. Are you comfortable with me telling a group about the term that we have?
Oh yeah,
Sure. Okay, so I will tell you that when I have a diverse group, things, you have to remember the people that we're trying to talk to are from different time periods, so they like to point things out, like nationalities. We did get the word Chinese at the very beginning of our tour, and Chris is from Malaysia.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, I asked, well, we just had a little
Yeah.
discussion about
Yeah.
it, but it was very interesting that it's happened before. I've had Vietnamese, I've had Filipino, like it's very specific. It's very weird, and it doesn't always show up. So when I see a word like Chinese that doesn't show up often, I have to ask.
Yeah.
So again, it is one of those things where I don't feel like it's a coincidence.
Yeah.
So very interesting indeed. Anything else out of the spirit boxes? Who else had a spirit box? Josephine, did you hear anything besides
Just
relationship?
relationship.
Okay. So let me show you what this badass chick looked like, and then I'll give you the answers, and we'll get this party wrapped up. You guys can ask me any other questions you want to.
That is called.
Yeah, you're giving me vague stuff.
I can't help it. It's
You've
what
been
the
doing this
phone
long enough.
says.
So this is one of the few pictures I could find of this woman with a shirt on. When she shot somebody, she always bared her breast to show that they were killed by a woman.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah, that's
you have to
that's
imagine I
cool.
do get a lot of teenage boys on this group, so I don't need mom staring me down. But she was pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
She is portrayed in a lot of like. I do expect the word king, so kind of take that for what it is. And Bonnie's parents, William Cormack and Mary Brennan. So now we have a secondary Mary. So Mary Brennan was the mistress. She was also a servant of the Cormack home, back home in Ireland. So he had an affair, and what happened was he basically sent the wife away because she was always sick. So to prevent her from spreading whatever disease he's told her that she had, he put her in their secondary home and then had an affair with one of the servants, and that's where Anne came from. Anne was also, I forgot to tell you guys this, she was okay with the cross-dressing bit that Calico Jack offered. It was because Dad used to dress her up as a boy at his attorneyship back home in Ireland to hide her away from his wife. So she was already okay with the I need to dress like a guy kind of mentality. So I'm going to start collecting devices. London's going to hand you guys my card so you guys can check out the website, and that way you guys have my contact info. So yeah, definitely keep your earwax. I don't want it back. No offense to you guys, but it's different times. What questions do you guys have? I'll start with yours.